You have been losing power your entire life, and you never noticed where it was leaking from. Every time you responded to someone who did not deserve your words, you gave away a piece of yourself. Every time you explained yourself to people determined to misunderstand you, you allowed them control over your emotions. This is a truth weak men never learn and strong men never forget. Your attention is not free. It is the most valuable currency you own. And you have been spending it on people who would not cross the street to help you. Machiavelli understood this truth 500 years ago. The prince who chases is the prince who falls. Tonight, you learn the discipline that separates leaders from followers. The calm and deliberate mastery of ignoring others. Once you understand this, no one will ever control you again. The philosophy of silence. Why Machiavelli never chased. Niccolò Machiavelli observed empires rise and collapse from the shadows of Florence. He studied princes, popes, and generals. He examined power with precision like a surgeon studying the human body. Across all his observations, one truth remained constant. The man who chases loses. The man who withdraws gains control. Machiavelli did not believe in fairness. He believed in outcomes. And the outcomes consistently showed that those who limited their presence became influential, while those who offered it freely became insignificant. The ruler who answered every insult appeared insecure. The ruler who replied to every critic appeared defensive. But the ruler who remained silent, who allowed enemies to shout into emptiness, became feared. Because silence is not absence. Silence is a message. Communicates that you are not worthy of a response. It signals that your presence does not justify my energy. It demonstrates that I operate on a level beyond your reach. This is why Machiavelli advised leaders to embody both the fox and the lion. The fox knows which traps to avoid. The lion knows which fights are not worth engaging. Most men today are neither. They chase every distraction, react to every provocation, and exhaust themselves without purpose. You will not be that man. You will learn that power is not loud. Power is controlled. Power does not explain itself. Power does not defend itself. Power simply exists and others adjust accordingly. When you adopt the philosophy of silence, you stop participating in games designed by others. You define the rules yourself. And in your world, the most effective move is often no reaction at all. The psychology of being ignored. What happens in their mind? Now consider what occurs inside the mind of someone you deliberately ignore. This is psychological influence in its purest form. When you refuse to acknowledge someone, their brain enters a state of distress. Neuroscience refers to this as social rejection. It activates the same brain regions associated with physical pain. They feel discomfort in their chest. They feel tension in their stomach. And they cannot escape it. The ignored person replays every interaction, searching for meaning. They lie awake questioning their actions. They write messages they never send. They rehearse conversations that will never happen. You become a presence that lingers in their thoughts, not through action, but through absence. The human mind struggles to accept dismissal. We are wired for connection, recognition, and response. When you deny someone this basic need, you create fixation. They attempt harder to reach you. They adjust their behavior to provoke a reaction. They begin to doubt their own value. And all of this unfolds while you remain completely inactive. This is not cruelty for its own sake. It is understanding human behavior and applying that understanding with intent. Weak men seek attention. Strong men control it. When you ignore someone who has wronged you, you deny them closure. Closure is not a right. It is a privilege. Instead, you leave them uncertain, questioning, and diminished. This is the reality of power. The strongest consequence is not retaliation. The strongest consequence is irrelevance. And you deliver it by acting as though they no longer exist. The art of strategic withdrawal. How to disappear without leaving. There is a clear difference between absence and strategic withdrawal. Absence suggests weakness. Withdrawal signals control. Those who master this skill learn to be physically present yet emotionally inaccessible. They occupy space without offering energy. They look at others without engaging them. This is not an act. It is a transformation. Strategic withdrawal means you decide where your attention belongs. You do not distribute yourself across every debate, conflict, or minor drama seeking your involvement. You preserve your presence like a tool used only when success is guaranteed. Most men exhaust themselves by always being available. They answer every call. They respond to every message. They react to every challenge. As a result, they become ordinary. Ordinary holds no power. When you are always reachable, your value disappears. When you are selectively unavailable, your value increases. Scarcity creates demand. Practice this consistently. Allow calls to remain unanswered. Let messages wait. Let others question your absence and speculate about your focus. The uncertainty you create carries more influence than any explanation you could provide. Emotional distance is not about coldness. It is about safeguarding your inner world from those who have not earned access. Your thoughts, your energy, your attention, these are protected domains. Only those who prove themselves deserving should be allowed inside. Everyone eventually reaches a limit. And here is the truth most people never grasp. The less you offer, the more others desire. The more you pull back, the harder they pursue. You are not fading away. You are rising. And from that higher position, the noise below becomes distant, smaller, and ultimately irrelevant. Enemies, critics, and noise. Who deserves your silence? Not everyone deserves your words. Many do not even deserve your silence. They deserve nothing at all. You must learn to identify who should be removed entirely from your attention. First are your enemies. These are the individuals who actively work against you. They want to see you fail. They speak against you in private and smile in public. Machiavelli taught that a leader must know his enemies, but never reward them with acknowledgement. When you respond to an enemy, you raise their status. You signal that they matter enough to disturb your peace. When you ignore them completely, you strip them of influence. They become shadows struggling against something they cannot reach. Second are the critics. These are voices that exist only to dismantle what others create. They produce nothing. They add nothing. They are spectators shouting from the sidelines while you remain in the arena. Responding to critics is the fastest way to reduce yourself to their level. Let them speak. Let them shout. Their words fade quickly, while your actions leave permanent marks. Third are the energy drainers. These are people who exhaust you with constant problems, endless drama, and an ongoing need for reassurance. They often appear as friends, but they survive by feeding on your attention. Remove them without explanation. You owe them nothing. Understand this clearly. Every reaction you give to the wrong people steals energy from your purpose. Every moment spent on their noise is a moment taken from your potential. A powerful man does not fight every conflict. He chooses his battles carefully and allows the rest to fade on their own. Your silence is not weakness. It is the strongest statement you can make. The discipline of indifference, training yourself to feel nothing. Ignoring others is easy to understand but difficult to practice. Your emotions will resist you. Insults will sting. Disrespect will provoke anger. Every instinct will push you to respond, defend yourself, and prove your worth. This is where most men fail. They understand the strategy but cannot control the impulse. You must train yourself to remain unaffected. This is not about suppressing emotion. It is about rising above it. The Stoics describe this as apatheia, a state where external events cannot disturb your inner stability. Machiavelli described it as virtù, the discipline of self-control that allows action based on reason rather than emotion. Begin with small tests. When someone disrespects you, pause, breathe, allow the emotion to rise, then let it pass without action. Keep your posture relaxed. Keep your expression unchanged. Become still. Practice this daily until indifference becomes natural. A man who cannot control his reactions is easily controlled. Anyone can provoke him. Anyone can manipulate him. He is predictable and vulnerable. But the man who masters indifference cannot be touched. You can insult him and receive nothing. You can betray him and be removed quietly from his life. He has nothing to prove because his strength comes from within. This discipline is not instinctive. It is built through repetition, mistakes, and constant correction. There will be moments when you fail. There will be times when emotion wins. But each time you regain control, you grow stronger. Each time you choose silence over reaction, you reinforce your armor. Eventually, nothing gets through. Power dynamics and social chess. Controlling the game without moving. Every interaction is a strategic exchange. Most people are unaware they are playing. They move impulsively, react emotionally, and defend everything. As a result, they lose. Those who understand power know that the strongest moves are often made by doing nothing. When you ignore someone with intent, you force them to act. They must approach you, explain themselves, and seek your attention. The balance of control shifts. In relationships, the person who cares less holds influence. This is not bitterness. It is reality. When you stop chasing, stop explaining, and stop seeking validation, you become the point around which others revolve. In business, the person who appears calm and unaffected usually wins negotiations. Neediness is visible. Desperation is obvious. Indifference signals options. It shows that you can walk away without loss. This is how leverage is created. In social structures, those who do not seek approval rise above those who do. While others compete for attention and engage in trivial conflicts, you remain detached. People notice. They become curious. And they respect what they cannot easily read. This is strategic interaction at its highest level. You do not win by engaging everywhere. You win by controlling the field while conserving energy. You win by being unreadable, unpredictable, and immune to manipulation. The game never stops. The only question is whether you are directing it or being used by it. The danger of caring too much, when attention becomes a chain. This is the trap that weakens most men. They care too deeply about how others see them. They replay conversations, analyze reactions, and search constantly for approval. This is not awareness. It is dependency. When you value others' opinions too highly, you hand them control over your inner world. Praise lifts you. Criticism destroys you. Your emotional state becomes dependent on external signals. You are no longer free. You are dependent on people who rarely think about you once you leave their presence. Machiavelli warned against this weakness. A leader who seeks universal approval earns none. A leader who fears rejection makes decisions based on fear, not strategy. The desire for approval is the end of authority. Psychology explains why this is so common. From childhood, we are trained to seek validation. Parents reward obedience. Teachers reward correct answers. Society teaches us to measure worth through others' opinions. Breaking this conditioning is difficult but necessary. A man who does not need approval cannot be controlled. He cannot be bought with praise or silenced by criticism. He follows an internal standard that does not shift with public opinion. This is freedom. Start by observing yourself. Notice when you change your words to be liked. Notice when fear of judgment alters your actions. Each time you catch this behavior, you weaken its hold. Each time you act without seeking approval, you move closer to independence. Caring too much is not sensitivity. It is vulnerability. A strong man cares deeply about his mission, his direction, and his legacy. He does not care about the opinions of those who do not matter. Learn the difference, and you will release chains you did not know existed. Becoming untouchable. The final transformation. Everything you have learned leads here. The mindset, the psychology, the discipline, the strategy all converge into one result. You become untouchable. This is not arrogance. It is structure. You are building a version of yourself that cannot be reached by those who seek to distract, harm, or control you. The untouchable man moves with quiet certainty. He speaks with restraint. His presence carries authority without effort. Others sense it immediately. There is clarity in his eyes. He has seen through the illusions that trap most people. He does not compete for attention because attention finds him. He does not argue with fools because silence is more effective. He does not chase validation because his worth is internally defined. This transformation takes time. It is shaped through repeated restraint. Every moment you choose not to react strengthens you. Every time you walk away from unnecessary conflict, you rise above it. Every time someone exhausts themselves against your indifference, you confirm your distance from them. The untouchable man is not cold by default. He is selective. He offers warmth to those who earn it. He speaks when it matters. He invests energy only where it aligns with his purpose. Everything else receives nothing. This is the final principle of Machiavellian power. A man who can be wounded emotionally can be destroyed physically. A man who can be controlled through approval can be exploited. But a man who needs nothing from others becomes unstoppable. You are not becoming heartless. You are becoming sovereign. There is a kingdom within you that belongs to no one else. Your thoughts are your land. Your emotions are your people. Your attention is your wealth. And you alone decide who is granted access. From this moment forward, you do not react impulsively. You respond only when it serves your goals. You do not explain yourself. Your outcomes speak for you. You do not chase. You attract by becoming someone worth pursuing. This is the transformation. This is what it means to be untouchable. The call to power. Your reign begins now. You have remained unseen long enough. You have given energy to those who drained you. You have explained yourself to those determined not to understand. You have sought validation from people unable to give it. That chapter ends here. That version of you ends here. The man who steps forward from this moment is not the same. He carries the lessons of Machiavelli in his thinking and the discipline of strategy in his mindset. He understands that attention is a form of currency, and he will no longer spend it carelessly. He knows that silence is not weakness, but the highest expression of control. He understands that ignoring others is not driven by hatred, but by self-preservation and authority. This is your awakening. This is the moment you stop being a passenger in your own life and take the wheel. No more reacting to every provocation like a puppet on strings. No more explaining yourself to people who have already decided what they believe. No more wasting valuable time on those who would not give a single minute for you. From this point forward, you operate with intention. You speak less and observe more. You engage only when it serves your direction. You allow the noise of the world to fade into background distraction while you focus on what truly matters. Your goals, your progress, your legacy. Those who once controlled your emotions will notice the shift. They will test you. They will provoke you. They will attempt to pull you back into their patterns. But you will remain steady. You will look at them with eyes that recognize the truth. And you will offer them nothing, no anger, no frustration, not even acknowledgement. They will become shadows, trying to affect someone who no longer responds to their presence. This is power psychology in its most refined form. This is Machiavellian discipline applied to modern life. This is the deliberate practice of ignoring that separates leaders from followers, winners from victims, remembered figures from the forgotten. You now hold knowledge that most people will never grasp. Use it with care. Apply it with precision. Use it to build inner strength that no outside force can dismantle. If this message resonated with you, leave a comment below with the words, "I am untouchable." Make it clear that you have chosen strength over weakness, silence over noise, control over dependency. If you found value here, press the like button to show your commitment to this path. Subscribe to this channel and enable notifications so you never miss another lesson in power, psychology, and self-mastery. Your reign begins now. Move forward and remain untouchable.